All right, guys. So in this series, we're going to try and make all the parts of a movie on a phone. That includes filming, editing, everything. So I'll get into the theory about this a little bit later, but for now, I just want to get started with the basic gear. Now, you're not going to need a lot of things. I'm a very cheap guy, okay? But you will need a couple little items to make filming on a phone a little bit easier. Now, I'm going to start with a pretty basic one, and that is lighting. Now, the thing that makes film look good is usually lighting. It's not like the intense number of megapixels of your camera or anything like that. It's lighting. Now, it's a reason why filming on a phone is usually not as good as filming on a dedicated camera. And I say usually, I mean, it never is. It's not going to be as good. You got to get over that. And again, I'll talk about that more in the theory. But the idea with a dedicated camera is it can have a huge lens that can let in a lot of light. So lighting is going to be your friend even with cell phone camera filming too. Okay, so you want to get yourself some lights. I just have some clamp lights. They're pretty basic. Let's see. It's probably overexposed. All right, so this is just a lamp that I've deconstructed. Actually, it's a clamp light, but I just took the dome thing off of a lamp from Walmart and put it on here. That's my normal light. I use that every day. Uh, but I adapted it to a clamp. This is a clamp light. Can't find it. And what you're going to want to do when you start filmmaking, maybe you already have, is buy a bunch of soft boxes. And you get them and they deliver great lighting, but they're bulky, they're huge, they're hard to set up, they fall over all the time because you didn't buy sandbags because you're a fool. So you're going to end up with some of these. That's what I use for like the diffusion. You don't have to get these. I actually have some parchment paper somewhere, but I can't find it. And I happen to have these lying around. Parchment paper will just work just fine on a clamp light. You can see it's just a clamp light in there with some LED bulbs. I'll post a link to the bulbs. I tried to find some pretty good ones at the right color temperature. That's really what you're going to want to pay attention to with lights. Make sure that they're all the same color temperature. Anyway, clamp light, diffusion, done. I've got another one over here. And I've got some lights up above. Those are also the same LEDs. I'm not an expert on lighting, but you usually want 3 points of light. You want an above one to separate yourself from the background. You want a key light, which is strong, and then you want a weaker one. All mine are the same, so the other one, the fill light, that's what it's called, is just further away. I wouldn't say that my lighting is the best, but at least you can see me. You can notice the sweat glistening off my face. It's beautiful. It lights the subject. Now you can film outside if that's your thing. When you're filming outside, the lighting is pretty good. Even on a day like this, let's see, the light's coming from over there. You can see the greenness growing on our garage. It's great. Pretty easy. So if you're doing a lot of outside filming, you don't even need a light, really. You just deal with it like this. Maybe you can get some tin foil and use it as a reflector or one of those car heat catcher things. You know what I'm talking about. Use that to bounce good light from the sun onto your subject. But other than that, you just need good lighting for your shot, whatever the shot is. But you do need some lighting, and that's why lighting is item 1. Now, when I'm filming, it's going to be a little shakier because I'm actually holding the phone in my hand. It was in this tripod. You're going to want a tripod. That's item number 2. Excuse me, I had to burp. Tripod. I got this simple one. You can get, if you're going to do selfie stuff and like hold it out, right? You can get the Gorilla Pod, but I find them to be a little more flexible. I mean, Casey Neistat uses one. So maybe if you get the expensive one, it works fine. This was like a $20 tripod. It did not come with this clamp, which is what I recommend. You can go to the dollar store. They've got like selfie sticks. They're terrible. And they've got this thing that holds the phone, and it's terrible. I've got one around here somewhere. Maybe I'll show you guys later. You can try that if it works for you. I don't like them. So I got this clamp. I use it everywhere. I have one in my car for my phone dock for like GPS and stuff. Speaking of bad lighting, here we are in my car. And this is the setup that I use for filming in the car. Sometimes I used to do some car vlogs. I don't do them so much anymore. They're kind of a pain. But I have one of the clamps that you saw before. I got this thing, which has a suction, and a tripod mount at the top. It's pretty simple. And then I got this thing that goes in a cup holder, and it just has a flat thing on top for the texture. It's a little silly that I have so many steps to get to, just this. You'd think it could be one piece, but you can probably buy some things that are all one piece, but I would not use anything other than this clamp because it is so good and easy to use. And I'm going to put my phone in there right now. Done. I recommend them in general, all around for stuff. And the phone just clamps right in there. Make sure you're not pressing your power button down. I'll include these links. Oh gosh, I gotta put links in the description. That's so much work. All right, putting you guys back on the tripod. Now, a tripod will be good most of the time. And when you're filming something serious, that's what you're going to want. You can stand it up for a steady shot. You can hold it, whatever. If your phone has auto stabilization, that's great. That'll make it even better. But there are times, especially if you're doing like a vlog thing, where you're not going to want to carry a tripod, even one as small as this, into the store. Maybe you get embarrassed less easily than I do, but I don't really want to do that. So what I recommend, here's my old phone. It's an S6. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you're going to want to get yourself a pop socket or a ring or one of those things, because it just makes it so easy to hold your phone and film with it. Like, it's a lot better than doing this and like more stable. Maybe you do this too. It's basically the same thing, but you're just balancing with this, and then you can stabilize with the rest of your hand. I can't live with that one. I'm actually in a bit of a sticky situation right now, or a non-sticky situation. I wasn't intending that pun, but the pop socket won't stick to my new phone. I got the new Razer phone, and the back is made of some slick material, and the pop socket will not stick. I don't know if it's because pop sockets are different now. This one's made in Korea. The new ones I got are made in China. Is there something weird going on there? I don't know. But I still recommend the pop socket if you can get it stick. Once I get a case for my Razer, hopefully it'll stick to that. Or I'll just epoxy it to it, right? I'll drill some screws. I'll make it work. I even contemplated sanding down the back of my phone, my new $700 phone, to get the pop socket to stick. That's how much I love these things. Just for everyday use, it's nicer to hold, but for filming especially, actually, I would probably want to film like that. Maybe. I think I usually film like this. Oh, well, the camera's in the center on this one. It's in the bottom. It's on one side on the Razer. Okay. Anyway, I recommend this. It'll work for in-store shots where people are around, and it looks less weird. I mean, you're still gonna... People might know that you're filming, but it's less like of a serious production. You know what I'm saying? When you're filming in public, it helps to be a little more discreet sometimes, and they're out of my brand. Anyway, the pop socket makes things a little less awkward and a lot easier to hold. So, I definitely recommend it. That way you can pretend that you're not filming when people walk by. Just put your phone down. Anyway, as I was saying, this makes filming handheld much less conspicuous and less weird. You can just do it in a store. No one's really gonna question you. They might notice, but it's not that bad. You just put the phone down when it feels weird, and then no one cares. And while I have the S6 up here, the last thing you're going to need is your phone. It's a very short list of things that you need. Now, I'm going to go into some extras after this, but the basic premise is you need your phone, something to hold it, and some lighting, and you're good. And even this S6 is fine. In fact, I got the Razer phone as my new phone, and it has a horrible camera. Now, I didn't know this when I bought it. I bought it like the day it was announced. But people don't like the camera. Maybe you don't like the camera right now when I'm filming on it. That's what I'm filming on right now. I'm using the selfie camera, of course. But it doesn't have a good camera. It has a really good mic, I think, from my tests, and that was the thing that sold me on the phone. Is I watched someone's video of a camera test, and in the camera test they compared it to the Pixel 2, which had an amazing picture, but the microphone was garbage. Now they were outside, okay, so the wind was blowing, and it's never really that great. But the thing that I think will make your videos so much better, especially filming on a phone, is not amazing image quality. You need good image quality. But I think the thing that will sell your videos is amazing sound. And you can record with an external mic if you're doing something really serious. I recommend that for sure. We can talk about that as well. But when you're just filming on the phone and using the phone only, I think you want to make sure you got a good mic. The S6 doesn't have as good of a mic. Well, it has a pretty good mic, but it rattles when you're handheld. But this S6, it has perfectly good image quality. 1080p on both sides, no problems. So you don't need to go out and get yourself a $700 phone. Or you don't have to get yourself a $700 phone with a terrible camera like I did, because that's stupid. Who would do that? But you don't have to get anything. Just use the phone that you have now. It's probably good enough. And if it's not good enough, you have a cheap phone. Like if you're using a $100 phone, it might not be good enough. But if you're going to get yourself a new phone, S6, $150 on eBay refurbished. That's what I did. That's what this is. And I filmed a lot of videos on it. I liked it. I wanted that 8 gigs of RAM on the Razer phone. Love it. And hopefully they'll software update the camera and make it better. But that's the initial gear that you're going to need to film. Now, let's go into some extras.